Tonight, when the sun drops below the horizon, you'll reach for a switch. Light will spill across your room instantly. Clean, effortless, unquestioned. But for almost all of human history, that moment didn't exist. When the sun went down, the world didn't dim. It vanished. There was no glow, no screens, no distant streetlights leaking through windows. Just darkness so complete you couldn't even see your own hands. And yet every single one of your ancestors lived inside that darkness. For over 300,000 years, humans spent nearly half their lives there. So what did they actually do? Because the answer isn't just about survival. It's about how we became human. It begins with fire. Long before cities, before structured language, before civilization itself, there was a flicker in the dark. The earliest strong evidence of controlled fire goes back roughly 1 million years, and once humans learned to hold on to it, everything changed. Not just warmth, not just cooking. Time itself changed. Before fire, night meant stillness. When darkness fell, movement stopped. You climbed a tree or found shelter and stayed there, because the night didn't belong to you. It belonged to predators. Big cats, hyenas, wolves, animals designed for darkness. Their vision sharpened, their bodies adapted, while yours failed. At night, you weren't the hunter. You were the target. Fire rewrote that rule. A campfire created an invisible boundary, a circle of safety, roughly 30 feet wide. Inside it, humans could exist. Outside it, survival dropped sharply. Even today, studies of hunter-gatherer groups show that those who stray too far from fire at night face a much higher risk of being killed. That edge of light wasn't symbolic. It was the difference between life and death, but fire did something else. Something quieter and far more powerful. It gave humans extra time. Before fire, your day ended when the sun disappeared. Maybe 10 to 12 usable hours, depending on the season. Fire added 2, sometimes 4 more hours to every day. And over thousands of generations, those extra hours began to reshape the human mind. Anthropologists studying traditional hunter-gatherer societies noticed a pattern in how people talk. During the day, conversations are practical, focused on survival. Food, movement, work, planning, small conflicts. Daytime is about efficiency. But at night, everything changes. Around the fire, conversation transforms. Stories take over. Not short exchanges, but full narratives, myths, personal experiences, legends, jokes that ripple through the group. Suddenly, humans aren't just reacting to the world around them. They're imagining it. The fire becomes more than protection. It becomes a stage, a classroom, a place where memory and imagination merge. This is where culture begins, not in daylight productivity, but in nighttime storytelling. It's where humans first learn to think beyond the present moment and build worlds inside their minds. But the night held something even more surprising, something modern humans have almost completely lost. You weren't designed to sleep the way you do now. Today, we treat sleep as one continuous block. You go to bed, stay unconscious, and wake up. But for most of history, that wasn't normal. Humans used to sleep in 2 phases, first sleep and second sleep. People would go to bed shortly after sunset, sleep for a few hours, then wake up naturally in the middle of the night. Not suddenly, not in panic, calmly. And they would stay awake for 1 or 2 hours before returning to sleep again until dawn. This wasn't insomnia. It was routine. Historical records across centuries describe it clearly. Diaries, medical texts, personal letters. Even literature all reference this pattern. People expected it. They structured their lives around it. And what they did during that quiet window in the night is deeply revealing. They talked softly, visited neighbors, prayed, reflected. Some wrote, others simply lay in the darkness, thinking, revisiting dreams while they were still vivid, exploring thoughts that never surfaced during the day. This period was known as the Watch, a calm space between two sleeps, where the mind existed in a different state. Modern science has rediscovered this pattern. When people are removed from artificial light and exposed to long periods of darkness, their bodies naturally return to this rhythm. Within weeks, they begin sleeping in two phases again, with a peaceful waking period in between. No instructions, no training. The body simply remembers. And this waking state isn't like normal consciousness. People describe it as deeply calm, almost meditative. Their brains produce hormones linked to relaxation and introspection. It's not a disruption of sleep, it's a separate mode of awareness, one that most modern humans rarely experience. So what erased it? The answer is simple: light. Slowly, humans began pushing back the night, first with candles, then oil lamps, then gas lighting. Cities began to glow after sunset. Streets became safer. Activity extended into the dark. And then came electric light. With it, night stopped being a limit. It became optional. Within a single generation, something that had shaped human life for hundreds of thousands of years disappeared. Sleep was compressed into a single block. The quiet waking period vanished. Night turned into an extension of day. Today we surround ourselves with artificial light for hours after sunset. Screens, bulbs, constant signals telling the brain to stay awake. But your body doesn't understand the difference between a light bulb and the sun. Light is light, and light means daytime. So melatonin, the hormone that prepares your body for sleep, gets delayed. Your rhythm shifts. Sleep becomes fragmented, and when you wake up in the middle of the night, you assume something is wrong. But what if it isn't? What if waking at 2 a.m., lying there in the dark, feeling strangely aware, isn't a malfunction, but a memory? For most of human history, the night wasn't empty. It was structured. Firelight, storytelling, shared safety, then sleep, then a quiet period of reflection, then sleep again. And above it all, a sky filled with stars, not faint, not distant, but overwhelming. The Milky Way wasn't something you traveled to see. It was simply there, every night, stretching across the sky. We replaced all of that with convenience, with switches, constant brightness, uninterrupted nights. And in doing so, we didn't just change how we sleep. We erased an entire human experience. So tonight, when you turn off your lights and the darkness settles in, even for a moment, pay attention. If your body wakes you in the middle of the night, maybe it isn't broken. Maybe it's remembering a time when the night wasn't something to sleep through, but something to live inside.